Welcome to Heart Healthy Living with Dr. Jackie, a Big Blend radio podcast that features Dr. Jacqueline Ubani, a board-certified cardiologist and electrophysiologist and author of the best-selling book, Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. So welcome, everyone. February is an exciting time for Dr. Jackie Ubani. You know, she's on this mission to get people to change their lifestyle so that they can be heart healthy through really good lifestyle changes. 80% chance, right? To be heart healthy if you do that. That gives you this 80% chance. And there's some really simple things we can do. And that's what we focus about on this show, how to stay healthy and have fun doing it. And so February is American Heart Health Month. So this is a very important time for Dr. Jackie and for all of us to kind of raise our heads in awareness and go, okay, are we heart healthy? Are we not? And along with it being Heart Health Month, it is International Friendship Month. So that's what we're going to focus on today, about friends and how friends can actually become like a group to make positive change. There's always that one who says, oh, come on, let's go on the dark side, you know, but don't. Kick them out of your circle. Now, you can be naughty once in a while, but welcome back, Dr. Jackie. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure being on the radio show with you guys.
Yay. You know, I think this is an important topic. Number one, American Heart Month. This is an important thing that there's a whole month dedicated to it. And I know you're always talking about the Heart Association, and really because heart disease is the number one killer, it's important to have a wake-up call. And we need a whole month's wake-up call.
Yes, it's a constant reminder that heart disease remains the number one cause of death in women and men. But we emphasize women because a lot of women do not know that heart disease is the number one cause of death. So it's very important that we educate so that we can decrease the numbers of deaths from heart disease that we see all over the world.
All over the world, right.
Yes.
And when you look at friendship, I think this is such a cool topic because I know there's so many, and everyone, Dr. Jackie has been on our show for years. She's got this channel now too, that you can listen to. So I encourage you to listen to the different podcasts over the years, all here. And also go to womenandheartdiseasebook.com. That is her best-selling book. And you can get it there. It is Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. Go get that. And it's for men and women to read and start making those lifestyle changes, which is what we focus on. But one of the lifestyles we want to talk about is our friends. So yeah, you know, we actually do need to look at our friends. So I know last month, I think it was last month or the month before, I talked about how I got rid of my terrible habit of smoking cigarettes, which I know when you talk about smoking, Dr. Jackie's going to come at you, because that's one of those things you don't want. But part of the success of me quitting smoking was I had too many friends that were smoking.
Right.
And when I did, I had to basically not be around them until I felt like I was over it and I could, you know?
Right. Right.
So there's good and bad things on friends, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't want to be hanging out with friends who encourage your bad habits or friends who participate in that bad habit that you are trying to get rid of. So,
yeah. I was watching a podcast with someone who was talking about that. Like I think it was her husband was doing dry January, and then she's like, "Oh, come on, you don't want a glass of wine at dinner?" And he's like, "You keep doing this. Maybe you should check in on yourself."
Right. Yeah. No. So it is important to have friends who are on the same page with you in terms of wanting to be healthy. Because it makes it fun and it makes it less stressful. If you have other people who are with you and are doing these same lifestyle changes, one, it keeps you accountable, and it just makes it a fun event that you guys can all do together.
I love that. Because I think it's kind of like a support group, and sometimes you make new friends doing new things.
Yes.
So sometimes your friends that you're with all the time could be really great on different things. So don't be, you know, don't be mean at them, because they're friends, but you may want to go, okay, they always have these big parties, and maybe I don't
Right.
want to do that right now until I'm strong enough to go, hey, I'm drinking mocktails these days. And, I don't know one friend of mine that wouldn't support, like if I say, hey, I'm really watching my health right now and I don't want to have a drink. I don't
Right.
know I mean, they'd look at me like, what? But, I'd have the what. And if I said no, it may be a special occasion or I'll have my glass of wine, but if, they would give me the what. And then I said, no, I need to really, I'm doing this to, really take control of my health. I don't know one friend that wouldn't support that, you know? It's important to
Yeah,
have that.
it is very important. So you definitely have good friends.
I
Yes,
do.
yes, you want friends who are supportive of your decisions to stay healthy. Yeah,
Mm.
that's very important.
Now I brought up the wine. I know we're going to get into other things that friends can do for fun, but I know Dr. Jackie sent me this email. She said, Lisa, have you seen this? I'm like, Dr. Jackie's being a good friend, but she's like telling me things I don't want to hear right now. But tell us the things we don't want to hear.
Yeah, so the Surgeon General just put out a statement regarding alcohol. He stated that alcohol consumption is the third preventable cause of several cancers in the United States, third only to tobacco, obesity. So the general recommendation is just to not have any alcohol. So unfortunately, we're not going to talk so much about, alcohol and its heart health, uh, uh, side effects or the effects on the heart. But again, it's with moderate alcohol use. Usually, if you have, more than moderate alcohol use is when you start to see all the bad effects of alcohol.
Mm. But at the end of the day, if you're, going through cancer,
Yes.
whenever you go through a big disease or medical issue, right? Um, doesn't that put a strain on your heart? So you don't want to have those other issues because that will affect heart health, right?
Yeah, other issues will definitely cause stress on the heart, and yeah, it can worsen your cardiac conditions if you're not taking care of yourself appropriately.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah. So
I,
alcohol apparently has a direct toxic effect on all organ systems, and it can lead to cancer. So be wary of that.
I think I think our country is getting really good at the dry Januaries, the sober Octobers, the mocktails, and going more in a healthy, especially our younger generation.
Yes,
We,
yes,
we see a huge portion being different than when I was a kid. When I
yeah.
was a kid, like we're all like, what can we sneak out of that cabinet?
Yeah.
Boy, did we
No,
have fun, but we
yeah,
did it
no,
for
it's
them.
yeah, no, it's really refreshing to see that the younger people are trying to be healthier.
Yeah.
And, when you go to restaurants, I see more options for mocktails, than alcohol. So I didn't used to see that even several years ago. So I think the restaurants are, encouraging those who are, who don't like to drink alcohol, giving them other options of beverages that they can drink and enjoy with their meal and still socialize with friends. So these are all wonderful steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I also want to look at the fact, as friends, you can make a pact together. Come on, we've all done naughty things and done things. So it's just like going, all right, we're going to do this together. We're going to climb this mountain one step at a time by going for a walk 3 times a week together, right?
Right.
150 minutes. I got it.
150 minutes. Yeah, I mean it's so much more fun when you go with friends because when you're by the time you're, all together talking and laughing, you don't even notice when 150 minutes have gone by with you guys doing moderate physical activity.
And
So,
someone holding accountable. And if someone does derail, maybe you all derail together, you're going to get back on it
You're going to
together
get back
again.
on. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're going
And
to get back on.
don't freak out on the derails either. I mean, come on. It's you're human, you
Yeah.
know.
Yes. Just make sure you get back on board and keep going and celebrate
Yeah.
your successes as you go along because you
Mm.
should celebrate and congratulate yourself for every step that you take moving forward.
When you reach goals, and you know what I see a lot, is Nancy and I travel the country, right? And we pet sit as
Yeah.
we travel. So having
Uh-huh.
animals is like that's your friendship too. And we
Yeah.
make all these friends across the country. And so we're literally living in neighborhoods around the country. And what I notice is a lot of people that do their daily walks. Dogs help for sure. Um, but what I do see is a lot of moms, new moms and moms walking together every day at a specific time with their dogs, their kids, with strollers. And of course, once you've had a child, you're trying to get your body back into shape. But I see this community of moms happen a lot wherever we go. And I think
Really.
that's pretty cool. And dad's involved too. There are dudes in there. There's guys involved. You never know. There's stay-at-home dads. There's dads. There's just, we're in a very diverse world now of what's going on with that.
Absolutely.
And you see this community of people together. And I remember somebody was trying to sell us Girl Scout cookies the other day, and I'm like running to do a podcast. I'm really sorry. And she goes, well, the text chain for the whole neighborhood. I'm like, there's a text thing. I'm so out of it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a parent. I don't live here, but the little girls like, you need to do the text chain so you can get our cookies.
Oh, how nice.
I felt so guilty. Like who
Very nice.
turns down Girl Scouts, but I had to really
No.
go. But I see these communities building. And so I think when we look at friends, sometimes your friends are the neighborhood people like down the street that
Yes.
you go, oh, it's my neighbor, but your neighbor is your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
And
create a community wherever you are with the people around you.
mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what about replacing? Maybe you go to karaoke once a month or something. The girls go out, right? And maybe going, maybe we're going to do something new, like take up painting, or what about that kind of thing?
Oh, I think that's absolutely wonderful. I think that's a wonderful way to let go of stress and just be happy and joyful because we know that less stress and joy and laughter actually has benefits, health benefits to people. So I
Mm.
definitely would encourage more of that.
Doing something new.
Doing something new
That
and fun. Yes.
that's exactly it. Like it's like find something common that you can all do and like something you'd never think you would do that is
Right.
challenging because if you try to do something you don't want to do, it's not going to happen. I don't
Exactly.
think.
It's stressful. Trying to do something
Mm.
you don't like to do, you're not good at, can be a source of stress that you really don't need. You're looking for
Mm.
activities to relieve stress.
See, I like the idea of signing up to go and do like a beach cleanup once a month because you're walking, you're bending, you're cleaning, you're meeting new people. There's hiking groups you can
Yeah.
join.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like if you don't have any friends that are involved with what you want to do, go find those hiking groups, the walking groups, maybe go volunteer at a botanical garden or that kind of thing because it isn't it just you want to be active, right? That's
Yes.
the
You want to be
thing.
active. Yes.
If you're gardening and pushing a wheelbarrow around, does that count?
That is actually a lot of work. That's strenuous work to be, gardening, pushing barrels. That's actually considered strenuous work, and that's really good for the heart.
What about going and volunteering, like pulling up invasive species in national parks? That's some work, you know?
Yes, it is work. And you're giving back. So you're checking off two boxes, which is always really good.
So emotional health is also
Yeah.
good for your heart.
Emotional health and wellness, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we talk about Heart Month, I think they chose it because of Valentine's Day, it's makes, that's the month of love and everything. But I feel like sometimes we forget like that emotional, like
Emotional and
joy
enjoy
and
and spiritual. I always talk,
mm.
good spiritual life, emotional and spiritual life. Yeah, those things are really
So
important.
volunteering, I think you make new friends from doing that, you know,
Yeah.
and connecting. It might be like you were saying, you, you could be walking dogs. There's people volunteer to walk dogs in
Yeah.
shelters and stuff like that. So you're getting some friendship with that dog. You know, what would you do for volunteering? I know Dr. Jackie, you travel a bit doing that, right? You go to Nigeria and do some work on with people that needed heart health care.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you
Yeah.
do to volunteer?
To volunteer here, I've done the beach cleanup that you mentioned, and it was a lot of fun. Um, so that's one thing I've done. And then one other thing that I recently did was went to the food bank and helped them put boxed food together to send to shelters and things like that. So on occasion I'll volunteer, and it's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of people, like you say. It's a nice social gathering, and it's also a way of giving back, which always makes me feel good, and that helps
Th-
limit stress.
That's a thing too. Giving back, it limits stress. If you're going through something a lot too, sometimes I think go for a walk with your friend if you can, if you're in the same, area. But even if your friends aren't where you are in the same neighborhood, we have Zoom, we have,
Yeah,
FaceTime, all those things. You could still check in with them. You could
yeah,
still have a program where you can create your own Facebook group. You could create your own WhatsApp group. You can create your own, you know, text group where even if you're around the world saying, okay, together, we're all going to do 30 minutes of walking today. And
right.
maybe you sync it in that you're all having a chat while you walk or, that kind of thing. So, you know, there's the possibilities are there that we didn't have before,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and if it's better to get something off your chest than to keep it on your chest, but it's also better to be maybe walking and doing something physical to get it off your chest and talking to a friend versus sitting and maybe going, you know what? I'm getting that whole bottle of wine.
yeah, and brooding over it, which makes things worse. Exactly, and you thinking about it in your head and coming up with all kinds of crazy things. But no, it's better to go out, meet friends and do some physical activities, volunteer. Think about giving back always works for me. It helps me because, you're not so self-centered when you actually, you know, do some volunteer work and see, come into contact with people who are less fortunate than you are, then you realize just how lucky you are, or how, you know,
Hmm.
how lucky you are. And that helps take away some of your issues and your problems from your head.
Mm. So, what is your big word of the month? Because you know how to pronounce it better than I do, but I've been learning from you, so thank you.
So the word that I picked today is hypercholesterolemia. And
Anemia.
and that just means high cholesterol, when your cholesterol is high, which, as you guys know from reading my book or listening to our chats, that high cholesterol is one of the risk factors for heart disease. And
Mm,
if your cholesterol is high, which, it's determined by blood work, that's really the only way that you can make that diagnosis, because you generally don't have any symptoms if your cholesterol is high. But if your cholesterol is high, you should see your doctor to talk about strategies to bring this down, which could include the lifestyle changes that we talk about all the time. And if
mm.
that doesn't work, then the next step would be to put you on medications.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we want prevention.
We want prevention. So that's why we talk so much about lifestyle changes, because these lifestyle changes not only improve your heart health, they improve your health overall. So every other disease process, every other organ systems benefit from these
Mm.
lifestyle changes. So it's important that we do them and maintain them.
I think the cholesterol thing is so confusing because there's good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, and then there's all these diets that people are doing where it's like we're eating a bunch of meat. I'm on a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And then there's the vegans. And then it's like, then they're eating nuts all day long. Like I'm like the avocado queen. And then I remember one podcast saying, I eat a whole avocado. And you're like, why? And I'm like, because it's good. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean you should do that every, like you
No,
don't
you
need
should.
that entire portion.
Yeah,
So,
no, you do.
um,
No.
yeah, cholesterol comes from these things that even if there's good cholesterol, you still don't want a lot of it, right? You have to
Right.
balance it, but
Balance everything out. Yeah.
ah,
Yes.
so
Always in
cholesterol.
moderation. Yeah, always in moderation. You don't want to overindulge. But like you said, there is the what we call the good cholesterol, and then there's the bad cholesterol. The bad cholesterol is the one that accumulates in your blood vessels and clog it up, kind of like a clogged toilet,
Mm,
sink, like a clogged sink. So you can't get blood through the arteries to supply the organ systems. And then the good cholesterol is the cholesterol that actually goes up and cleans up the plaque buildup in your arteries. So you want more good cholesterol and you want less bad cholesterol.
I didn't know that the good cholesterol was eating, taking out the bad cholesterol. I didn't get that part. Ooh,
Yes. So
oh
it's
my, we're going to have
it's
a war. This is a good war. I'm going to have a war on cholesterol. I'm going to send my good cholesterols off there. You start doing that. I had too many sausage days over, the holidays and winter. Winter's bad. We
it
start to
is.
just, yeah, it is.
Hibernate, yeah.
Hibernate. And then when the snow and ice comes, I'm going to start getting all that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, no
I'm
sun.
not going to tell you what I have been up to. I'm just not going to. But I know that I can just pick up and make a change, a positive change. And every
Yes.
time you make those steps, it feels so good.
Yeah, it
So
does.
I,
It really
I
does.
say this, Dr. Jackie, with friendship, how about getting your friends together and going on like a health retreat together? And once you do a few days of good, healthy stuff, you're allowed to sneak a bottle of wine in. Are we
I'm
allowed to do that?
now I'm for the getting your girlfriends together and going on a health retreat, but I can't endorse the alcohol. But going on these health retreats are awesome. I love doing that. I think it's a fun activity to do, and you get to learn a lot about healthy eating, and hopefully you can implement some of those changes when you go home.
Mm, exactly. That's the thing. Well, it helps because a lot of those resorts and they have like nutritionists and
Yeah,
you can do those tests. They can check things. They teach you. They have cooking classes. There's yoga. There's all these things and you're away from someone telling you, oh, what a waste of time or anybody else's opinion that maybe you don't want to hear.
right.
Sometimes you want to do it on your own. You're your own best friend to just
Yeah,
go and make a change. When we talk about International Friendship Month, sometimes it starts with being a friend to yourself. You
it
know,
does. It really
we're
does.
terrible as humans about that,
Yeah.
especially women. We just sit and do and forget like, hey, I got to take care of my best friend. And, she's sitting right here,
That's right. That's right.
so I love that. I love this whole thing about friends working together. And I see that with my friends, as we hit over the hill, like that over the hill thing, everybody checks in with each other on health issues. I'm like, how did this change? Like, what just happened? You know, what
Right.
happened?
What
But
happened?
it's a good thing to start early
It is.
and do it as prevention and feeling good and happy and laughing and feeling weightless. Like, that's what I want to feel.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just light. And that's what we're going to be talking about next month, y'all, March. Oh, we're going to get into it because by the time March rolls around, we want to get rid of those rolls. Those rolls. I got my own rolls. I got my own bakery going on.
Oh, good
And
heavens.
well, I listen, Dr. Jackie, all I can say is Nancy and I have been in the South, if you can't hear it by my voice a
Yeah.
little bit. And I discovered the world of cooking with butter. And
Yes.
I, oh, it's so good. But I'm just thinking that when I was doing light bits of olive oil, that's probably what I was supposed to do.
Right.
So I need the next episode. My body needs you, and we need this next episode in March because we're going to talk about what is the good and the bad fats. We're going to talk about how to shed those winter layers, not just the clothing, but the rolls.
But the rolls.
But
Yeah.
the rolls.
Yeah.
Some of us like me might be tires. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna shed that. We're gonna learn how to do that and why, and get into the nitty gritty because spring is coming. I know it doesn't feel like it depending on where you are, but spring is coming somewhere. We hope.
Yes.
And at that point, we're gonna start spring cleaning our bodies and feeling good, right? Because we don't want weight. Isn't that's the thing? No weight.
Yeah.
No.
No, we don't want to be obese. We want to be
you said
healthy. We do not want to be obese because obesity has a high risk for developing heart disease.
Okay, Dr. Jackie, thank you so much as always. Everyone, Women and Heart Disease, the book, womenandheartdiseasebook.com is the website to go to. Go get her book, Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. It really helps. The podcast too. Take a listen, get motivated and see what you and your friends will do. Maybe just one or two to get started and say, hey, maybe get 5. So if one drops out, you can keep going, get some friends, create a community and stick to it and just do one little challenge at a time, one little thing at a time.
Absolutely.
You can't conquer a mountain in one day, but we sure can do it. All right. Thank you, Dr. Jackie. Happy Heart Health Month.
Happy Heart Health Month. Take care.
Thanks for joining us on Big Blend Radio's Heart Healthy Living Show with Dr. Jackie. New episodes air every second Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can keep up with Dr. Jackie at womenandheartdiseasebook.com. Listen to the shows at bigblendradio.com.